Penguins made a splash this morning. First, they announced that they extended Jim Rutherford for 3 more years until 2022, which is pretty bizarre when you think about it because he's had a abysmal 2 off seasons this season and last off season. I don't know how any owner can look at what he's done and say, gee, we really need to keep him as a GM on our team because he's not done anything to gain my confidence. Doesn't make any sense. The whole thing is just very bizarre. And then he says, okay, I'll see you in half an hour after I announce the trade. And then he comes back in about half an hour or an hour and announces that he's traded Carl Hagelin for Tanner Pearson in a 1-for-1 deal. Now, Pearson was kind of rumored to be going for the Penguins for a while, but everyone thought that Daniel Sprong would go the other way. The Penguins hang on to Daniel Sprong, which is quite genius. They also managed to hang on to Sprong and Pouliot when they traded for Phil Kessel. They would later on trade Derek Pouliot, but they hung on to Sprong both times. And basically it was just a 1-for-1. Now, if you're LA, I'm not really sure what you're doing. I don't think that Rob Blake, their GM, realizes that team stinks. They really stink. They're old. They're slow. They're not good anymore. And he just made them older. He made them faster, but he made them older. That trade doesn't make any sense. Hagelin's also on an expiring deal. He's also more expensive. So I don't know what LA's doing on that one. But for Pittsburgh, this is really good. Pearson's having a tough season, but his career high is 20 goals and 40 points. So if you get 40 points as for a depth player on your third line, that's pretty solid. I expect to play on the third line. That's what he's most suited for, ideally. He's not really skilled enough to play in the second line. He did in LA when he played with Toffoli and Carter, but they were probably responsible for a lot of his success. I think ideally he'd play on the third line. You saw him in there with Broussard. Hopefully he gets really healthy soon. And either Rust or Hornquist, whoever plays in that role, they kind of flip-flop there. And I think that'd be a really, really solid third line. Tanner Pearson's also younger. His cap hit's only 3.75, and he's also got term left on his deal. He's signed through 2022. And Jim Rutherford's also signed through 2022. And this year is becoming a bit of an unofficial deadline here for the Penguins to kind of win before, they tear it all down, as it were, because Malkin's contract expires in 2022, Letang's contract expires in 2022, Kessel's contract expires in 2022. I believe Murray's contract also expires that year, only Matta's contract. So a large chunk of the team has their contracts expire that year. Pretty much the only core guy who's signed after 2022 is, of course, Sidney Crosby, and that's because he signed back in the old CBA. He signed a monstrous 12-year deal with a cap hit of 8.7 the year before Malkin signed his, so he signed in 2012. Of course, these deals are not allowed anymore. So he is signed, I believe, through, and he had 1 year left in his deal. So he is signed, I believe, through 2025 or 2024 when he will be 38 or 37. So he is signed for a long time. So that'll be interesting when 2022 comes to see what Pittsburgh decides to do, because it really is kind of like they've decided to really put a deadline on this team, I guess, on this core group, because so many players have their contracts expire then, including the GM. Pretty much Crosby the only one left. So interesting to see what happens then. It's not that far from now, so kind of weird. It's only 4 years away, not even, just over 3 years. So it's kind of shocking, but that seems to be kind of where this team is going. I don't think Rutherford will make it to 2022. Maybe he will. I'd be really surprised. Though GMs in Pittsburgh have notoriously been here for a long time under the Lemieux Burkle era. We look at how long Greg Patrick was here for. He was here when he drafted Lemieux, I believe, and he also drafted Crosby and Letang, and he was not let go until the end of that season in 2006. Ray Shero was here for a short time by those standards. He came in 2006 and was fired in 2014. GMs generally do survive longer than coaches, but again, still them have a large shelf life. So Rutherford's already been here for 4 years, which is a lot longer than anyone thought he'd be, including himself. He said he would leave after a few years and let Jason Broderill take over. Well, that did not happen. Of course, Jason Broderill went to Buffalo, and he's done great things there. So it was a pretty big loss from Pittsburgh. They should have made him GM while they could and told Jim Rutherford to step away. Because Jim Rutherford, he's very hit or miss. So he's mediocre. Some trades, really good. The Kessel trade, perfect example. Brassard trade, perfect example. Jack Johnson trade, big miss. Matt Cullen re-signing, big miss. Letting Nick Menino walk, a hit. He's too expensive. Trading for him in the first place, big hit. But again, this jury's still out on this one. I think overall it'll be a hit, but it's not really gonna shake up the core of the team. It's a minor move to improve the bottom six, which is what Pittsburgh needs to do, because I believe it's been 9 straight games where they've gotten a goal from someone other than Crosby and Malkin. Or that Malkin and Crosby have been involved in the goals, at least, that they've been on the ice for pretty much every goal that they've scored in the past, the past 9 goals. Matt Cullen hasn't scored since his game against Calgary. Riley Sheahan's got 1 goal on the season. Brun Rast, after his contract this summer, he's in a big rut, even playing with Crosby. Gensel and Kessel, the most productive wingers on the team, were stable to the third line last game, which makes no sense. And, they've been good. Letang has been playing with Jack Johnson, which is just asinine because he and Dumoulin are the best pair, and why would you break them up? So this team's kind of a mess right now. Overall, this move is not going to really shake up the core of the team, but it should hopefully provide some more stability for the third line. But Pittsburgh needs to make some bigger moves here, because right now, what's going on, it's not good enough. The defense needs a major shakeup. Of course, having Justin Schultz hurt is not good. But besides Letang and Dumoulin, no one's really playing well. Mostly Jack Johnson. He won't finish his deal for sure. But Matt is having a disappointing season. Alexak's been playing pretty well, actually, but Sullivan seems to not play him as much for some reason, even though he's been the third best defenseman on the team. Rickle is not NHL ready, so this team's kind of a mess. They need a lot of work, but I think overall this is a good small move. What hopefully is to come, many more moves are to come. But again, Jim Rutherford's very hit or miss, so he could do something really good today and then really bad tomorrow. You just never know. It's like a box of chocolates, right? You never know what you're going to get with Jim Rutherford. Anyways, that's all I have for this video. Let me know what your thoughts are on the trade. Let me know what you think on the Penguins season. Currently, they're 2 points out of bottom, last in the East, which again, they're in the same place last year. But we saw how they kind of limped their way out of the playoffs through Washington. And we thought this year would be better. So far, not so good. Again, still early, but usually American Thanksgiving is a cutoff for teams that are not in the playoffs. If they're not in the playoffs, they usually don't stay in the playoffs. And that's just 2 weeks away. So we'll see what happens in the next 2 weeks. So please like if you like, subscribe if you really like it, share with all your friends, tell everybody, and I will see you after the Penguins' next game. And hopefully Tanner Pearson works out. Bye for now.